Yes, in this video I'm going to go over my champion Spectral Helix character that I'm going to be playing. Pretty much exactly what I'm going to do, so if you want to copy, you can do that. Basically what's happening here is Spectral Helix didn't get nerfed and it was already absurd. Played it on a couple characters. I know a lot of people have done different variants of Spectral Helix, so it's extremely flexible skill. Some people don't like the playstyle, but the fact is the raw damage output of Spectral Helix is bonkers. We're already like 3.5 million DPS on a very tanky hardcore character. This hits multiple times. It can hit like 2-3 times on a single target, so at least like 7, 8, 9 million DPS probably on a single target, which is, for hardcore standards, extremely high. Paradoxica, so we're sword and board. And we're stacking a bunch of auras, which is the nice thing with the new reservation changes, and some of the aura masteries on the tree are really strong, so we're Pride, Precision, Max Level Pride, Max Level Precision, Dread Banner, and then we're Triple Purity. Triple Purity gives us 90 auras with some aura effectiveness. I'll show a bit of all of that. And then we got kind of standard other stuff going on here, so... Glorious Vanity fixes our sustain problems, which champion typically has. You can put this in other place, like here is pretty good for it. Although, when you're using Purity of Lightning, your int requirements are pretty high, so... getting all your attributes can be quite difficult. Show the aura stuff on the tree, so... Basically, we're taking both wheels, and we're anointing Sovereignty eventually. Like I said, this is pretty high in gear, so it's like post... I'd say like post Maven. It's pretty up there. So Reservation Mastery, and then Aura Effectiveness on the Mastery. We are crit build with Impel, so we take very strong sword nodes. We're also projectiles, so we're taking crit, proj nodes. Far shot for some proj speed. Sword masteries are good. The crit one is very good all the time, and then you can use the frenzy charge on unique for frenzy charge boss DPS when you want that. What else we got going here? Got some leech nodes. They give very good damage per point. The new max res nodes here to help us hit that juicy 90 all res. Pretty good armor. I don't know if we really need any more armor because they buffed armor for whatever reason, but I don't have all the masteries selected, and you can move and change your tree a little bit if you need to, because like you can get Corrupted Blood here, you can get on another jewel, you can get like crit reduction, you can get, what else? Proj stuff if you want it, like more mapping comfort for proj speed or boss DPS, whatever, for less proj speed. Only life mastery I take is the plus 50 flat life. I think the rest are kind of whatever. But for mapping, if you don't like your mapping too much, you can Call of Steel in a jewel slot. Call of Steel is extremely good on a character like this. It really smooths out the mapping. So Call of Steel if you want to use it. Only thing is you need to put like a steel skill on your character somewhere, otherwise you don't have access to the ability. So Lord of Steel if you want to put it on the tree, and then you can have Call of Steel juice. Gear, Paradoxica, you don't have to have one exactly like this. This isn't even the best. Blind is probably better, or yeah, probably Blind for the extra mitigation that you get from it. This shield, you probably don't even need the reservation. I just say like the +2 max res is all that's really super desirable at high-end gear, but like you could get a reservation on your helmet, that might be enough. The Noseling helmet, I haven't used this before, but Far Shot should be pretty good, just the only problem is you can't stand directly on top of the monster. It comes from Heist. Then whatever enchant you can get, there's a bunch of auras that you use, so just whatever aura, or whatever enchant you can get, auras or DPS stuff. Chest piece, this looks pretty insane, but it's not that hard to get, to be honest. Some of these Ascendancy and Reservation Masteries don't work on the trees, so I just kind of like plug them in real quick. Basically just the aura effectiveness 25, and then you can also fit in crit pretty easy with a Awakener Orb, and then you can just roll the prefixes until you hit like a life roll. You potentially hit double life as well, because since it's a Elder chest life percentage. Gloves, we just want +2 AoE or +2 aura gem levels on the implicit. You can be rare gloves. I mean, these gloves can be quite a bit better. Boots. Just standard whatever boots. You could get Tailwind boots or whatever, elusive or something if you want them. So nothing too crazy here. Amulet can be pretty difficult. It's like life, multi, flat fizz. Anything else is extra. You probably want specifically one that gives like int and or dex, because attributes get pretty intense. Rings, mostly just like life, resist type stuff, especially chaos res, since we are getting most of our elemental resistances eventually through the absurdness of our auras, the triple purity, and then coral ring. Really, it's just you want a vulnerability ring. Anything else extra, life, int. Int is really good whenever you want to fit the purity of lightning on your character. We're just using a coil here. You can use whatever belt, but coil is pretty good damage. I think it's like 30% damage if you want to use coil. Or just a rare belt, that's fine too. Got the Watcher's Eye, you just want Impale. Any damage, you use a bunch of auras, so there's a bunch of different Watcher's Eyes, so you can use precision or like Fizz damage taken as X from each purity. Glorious Vanity for the Overleech, and then just like whatever jewel. This probably should be a Lord of Steel jewel, to be honest, for mapping, but you can switch it out whenever you're doing bosses, so that's that. Anything else that's worth mentioning? That's pretty much it. Your tree's kind of flexible. You don't have to have this much damage. I think this is way, way, way beyond overkill damage, so if you want to like cap block instead of some damage, you can do that, or if you want to gear up for max spell suppression, you can do that pretty easy with a couple gear pieces, and then you're already there on the tree. Like, your tree position is really good if you want to go max block, or if you want to get cap spell suppression, you have the access to, you do have access to both of those. And then, potentially you can even fit in more auras. There's pretty good flexibility here, so you can kind of customize it to whatever you want or need. And if you're probably doing like a softcore version, you probably want to go like Petrified Blood with Bloodthirst, because that makes you do like a trizillion billion damage. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. Kind of glance at the starter, kind of like leveling how I'm probably going to do it. I'll do Spectral Helix probably with a two-hander. This is like day one-ish gear, essentially, with pretty whatever stuff. So just going to go over it, what we're doing here. So Spectral Helix, non-crit. You could go over here. There's a lot of quality of life stuff that I was really considering taking early, but I just said I'll probably just play like a meathead standard through like the early 90s into red maps. So I decided to get the life stuff from the Templar area instead of the quality of life prod speed stuff. But you can go that way if you want to. So because we're non-crit, we got to find ways to get damage. So things like Rampart are good, 70% damage for 3 nodes. We're axes, so we're getting like onslaught and kill, we're anointing that, and then we take the whole axe cluster with rage on hit, so we have access to berserk with that for mapping, which is really nice if you want to do that. Because there's not really good 6 links that you can use, we're using a soul tether, I believe. So soul tether activates the ability to use damage on full life, so because there's like really not a good 6 link when you get to that point to fit in on a non-crit Spectral Helix, so we have that. We're very tanky like this. I think we're using D-Term, because new determination is extremely strong. You don't have to do this. You can put in like, if you wanted, I might not even do this because I might feel too tanky anyway. But Pride, Dread Banner are really good, and then you could fit in like Herald of Purity and Skitterbots if you wanted to, instead of like determination, something like that. There's some choices there for sure that you can run. Nothing too crazy here, just like kind of standard-ish looking stuff. But the transition between this kind of setup and the other setup will be kind of difficult, so kind of a lot of just gathering a lot of pieces. Like you could use like the Fledgling Helmet just as a non-crit, that's perfectly fine. You get a lot of damage from that. And then eventually you'll want to respec and grab more of this stuff. And then eventually fill in crit when you do go like a Paradoxica setup. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do, roughly. So nothing too crazy going on here. Just the main thing is that aura stacking seems really good on a champion, so that's what we're going to be doing. Cool.